Hello, trainers! Professor Palm here, and today is June 1st. You know what that means for a lot of us? Summer! Hooray! It's summertime! While a lot of us really do like summer, there's a lot of things that we can do in the summer. We can go visit the beach, we can go surfing, even boogie boarding, paddle boarding, whatever. You can do a lot of things at the beach. Some of us also go to camp during the summer, or go to sleepaway camp and have some fun times in the sun. We also like to go swimming a lot, or some of us also just really like to tan in the summer. And if any of you are tanning or getting your hair a different color the natural way, I hope that you have fun, and I think you'll look great. But I want to say that today is the beginning of Summer Splash. Just like what I did with March Meltdown, for the entire month of June, I'm going to be talking nonstop about water-type Pokemon. Why? Because during the summer, it's really hot, and a lot of us need to cool down. So, what's a better way to cool down than talk about water Pokemon? After all, a lot of us love the beach, and a lot of us love going to the pool. And some of us also like having water gun fights. So, I think it's the perfect time to talk about water Pokemon. Well, since summer has just began, I think that I should head to Alola. After all, Alola is nice and sunny all year round, and they've got a lot of beaches to go to. I really should learn how to Mantine surf this summer, so I might as well— Aw, come on! I also forgot to mention, hurricane season also starts at the beginning of summer, so that's something that's not much fun to look forward to. And it is pouring rain outside of my lab. Great! I was gonna go have a very fun vacation, and now I gotta wait for this rain to go. Wait a second. Where did that rain go? It just got pure sunny out of nowhere. How on earth is that even possible? Huh. It's kind of interesting. And it's raining again. Perfect. Of course it has to be raining right now. Something must have used rain dance. And now it's sunny again? What's going on? Sunny day and rain dance? Is a Pokemon doing that outside just to be funny with us? Wait a second. Now all the weather just cleared up and it looks nice outside. Oh my goodness. I think I know what that means. It means the Weather Trio are near. Yep. If you don't know who the Weather Trio are, maybe I should introduce you, because here they are. We have Kyogre, the Sea Basin Pokemon, Groudon, the Continent Pokemon, and of course, Rayquaza, the Sky High Pokemon. For those of you who don't know, Kyogre, Groudon, and Rayquaza all make the Super Ancient Trio. That's what they were called originally, but we as fans called them the Weather Trio. And it's hard not to see these Pokemon as a Weather Trio because of their abilities. Now, a lot of people also get these Pokemon confused with Thundurus, Tornadus, and Landorus as the Weather Trio. But you see, these guys are the Weather Trio, while those other three are known as the Forces of Nature. Well, it looks like today I'm going from being a Pokemon professor to a meteorologist, or as a lot of us call them, a weatherman. To be honest, I'm not really looking forward to this. I'd rather be an anchorman like Ron Burgundy. I think I could really be a great anchorman. I have to say, being in the world of Pokemon would probably be a horrible place to be a weatherman, because a Pokemon could use the move Hail, a Pokemon could use the move Rain Dance, or even Sunny Day, and change the weather automatically just because of that. I guess on the plus side, some of us who want rainy days or snowy days could get that anytime we wanted. So, maybe being a weatherman in the world of Pokemon isn't all that bad. Kyogre, the Sea Basin Pokemon, starts this trio. It's not just the bringer of storms and rain, but it's also the mascot of Pokemon Sapphire and Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. Other than rain, this Pokemon brings hurricanes and typhoons. It also has the ability to control the waves. It can make it very, very calm, or it can make it very, very violent at sea. When looking at this incredible whale of a Pokemon, it's no surprise that Kyogre is based off of orcas, or as many people call them, killer whales. If you look very carefully, Kyogre has the oval white spot over its head very close to its eye, just like normal orcas. However, unlike normal orcas, Kyogre is blue and white, while many orcas are black and white. Also, unlike orcas, Kyogre has 2 pectoral fins, while most orcas have only 1. What's really cool about this Pokemon are the red markings all over its body. That gave me a sense of upgrade from Ben 10, but these are just normal markings to show not only is this Pokemon ancient, but also to show how many battles that it has been through. Kyogre can also be compared to the mythical creature from the Bible, the Leviathan. The Leviathan was a sea creature that brought untold destruction, horrible waves, and terrible storms, and it also consumed everything in its path that was in the water without any second thought. In Pokemon Battle Revolution, Coliseum leader Marina loves this Pokemon so much that she herself wears a costume of Kyogre. While Kyogre is based off of the Leviathan, it's the complete opposite, as it doesn't really like to bring destruction. It's only doing its job when it makes typhoons, hurricanes, as well as making it rain a lot. You see, a lot of people claim that Kyogre was the creator of the seas, and some other people even claim that Kyogre is the king of the ocean. Looks like Kyogre and Aquaman have some competition. Kyogre's ability is Drizzle, which makes it pour like crazy. While this can be seen as annoying, there were people in ancient times that saw this Pokemon as a hero. The reason why is because this Pokemon brought rain when the areas they were in were experiencing drought, or when they really needed the rain and there was no water left in the well. So, some people can see Kyogre as a hero, while some people see Kyogre as a bit of an inconvenience. Kyogre can also have a very dark side to it, as when this Pokemon's enraged, not only will it bring typhoons and hurricanes, but it can bring ginormous tidal waves, or it can even bring rogue waves. So if you're surfing nearby this Pokemon and it's enraged, I would advise you that it's a very bad idea to do. In Kyogre's primal form, not only does it have a primordial sea, but the sea and rain that Primal Kyogre produce is so powerful that Fire-type moves can't even start. In Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby, Kyogre is one of the few Pokemon, just like Lapras in Pokemon X and Y, that has its own surfing animation sprite, unlike the blue blob that we get with many other surfing Pokemon. This also continued underwater when using the move Dive. If you look very carefully, unlike most Pokemon that we just have that blue blob to, we have a full sprite of Kyogre diving, and it's a lot of fun to do. For being a Water-type Pokemon, you would expect this Pokemon to have a signature move being a Water-type move, and you would be correct. Its signature move is Origin Pulse, that was introduced in Gen 6. Before then, its signature move was Sheer Cold, an OTKO move that was surprisingly an Ice-type move, despite this Pokemon being a pure Water-type. If you earn Kyogre's trust, not only can you ride this Pokemon through very harsh storms, but you could also learn to surf with this Pokemon. Not just on it, but you could also bring your surfboard or your boogie board, because this Pokemon makes incredible waves. Maybe it's best that you get the lessons first and you be very careful with these ginormous waves. But hey, it'd be a lot of fun and you could show off to a lot of people, and that could really boost your pro surfing career. For a Pokemon that really brings the rain as well as a lot of tides, it really does make a splash. But I think a lot of us for summer want to be in the heat. Maybe because we really like sweating, maybe because we also really like getting a tan, or we just like the sunshine. So, put your hands together for the continent Pokemon itself, the one, the only, Groudon. Groudon, the continent Pokemon, is the bringer of sunny days, massive earthquakes, and volcano eruptions. This Pokemon also was the mascot for Pokemon Ruby and Pokemon Omega Ruby. While Kyogre was based off of an orca or a killer whale, Groudon, on the other hand, is based off of 2 dinosaurs. It's actually a fusion of 2 dinosaurs. It's a fusion of a Tyrannosaurus Rex, the king of the dinosaurs, and the armored dinosaur itself, an Ankylosaurus. Just like Kyogre being based off of the biblical creature Leviathan, Groudon is also based off a biblical creature, that one being Behemoth, a ginormous land creature that would go around causing earthquakes, opening sinkholes, making volcanoes erupt, and also it would open up the world with its earth powers and swallow victims whole. Contrary to popular belief, Groudon was always a pure ground type. The fire type didn't get added to it until its primal revision in Generation 6. If we're going to talk about ground type Pokemon, Groudon is currently the only ground type Pokemon that is capable of having the ability Drought, as it's more of a fire type ability. Also, for pure ground type Pokemon, Groudon is currently the only pure ground type that has no evolutionary line. Groudon is also a very popular Pokemon that in Pokemon Battle Revolution, the Colosseum leader Terrell wears a costume that is very similar of Groudon. With Groudon's ability Drought, it brings a lot of harsh sunlight and very, very hot days. While some people hate these hot days and would rather cool off, there were people in ancient times that actually saw this Pokemon as a savior. You see, some areas had been plagued with horrible floods and overflow, and when this Pokemon came by, its harsh sunlight helped evaporate those terrible floods, and it also helped give light to crops that were needing of good sunlight. While Groudon is a very active Pokemon, like the rest of us, it needs to sleep at times, and when this Pokemon wants to sleep, it goes underground and sleeps in molten magma. Some people also say that when Groudon awakens, a volcano erupts. But it also can happen if Groudon is having night terrors or even having a horrible nightmare. Maybe a nightmare that it lost to Kyogre. As said before, in Primal Revision form, Groudon is given the Fire type, making it a ground fire type, giving it a major weakness to water, a ×4 weakness. However, don't you worry because of its primordial sun. That sunlight is so powerful, water type moves evaporate in seconds. So, if you really hate being in the rain and you really don't like having wet clothes, take this Pokemon with you because you'll be dry in seconds. But maybe it's a bad idea to take it towards ponds, lakes, rivers, and even the ocean because some people like the water and would not want it to dry up instantaneously. The spikes on Groudon's body are not just for show, as well as its claws. As you see, its signature move, Precipice Blades, introduced in Gen 6, can be just as sharp and dangerous as all those spikes across its body. However, before then, this Pokemon's signature move was Fissure, an OTKO ground-type move that would knock out the Pokemon if it hit. But just like Sheer Cold, it had a very, very rare chance of hitting. Groudon is a pretty cool Pokemon for being a ground type as it learns a lot of fire type moves. Then again, it is the bringer of the sun as well as hot sunny days, but I have to say, this Pokemon can really be helpful if you're using a team of fire type Pokemon or even a team of grass type Pokemon. You see, it has Drought as its ability as well as Primordial Sun, which makes a lot of sunlight and also powers up fire type moves, and it even can help a few grass type moves like Solar Blade, Solar Beam, Synthesis, and even the move Morning Sun. But also, Sunny Days helps boost the power of fire type moves, and having this Pokemon's Drought gives you a free sunny day, so that could be very helpful for you. Since Groudon makes its homes in volcanoes as well as in hot places like in magma, if you earn this Pokemon's trust, you'll have the ability to ride on it into the volcanoes. But make sure you have a heat protection suit, because this Pokemon's heat tolerance is nothing compared to our heat tolerance. In fact, Groudon can pick up something that's on fire and feel no pain. For many years, Groudon and Kyogre have had an ongoing battle and have always tried to prove one of them being better. Just like Team Aqua and Team Magma, both Pokemon and villainous teams have the same goals. Groudon is sought after by the villainous Team Magma, mainly by its leader Maxie, as well as his two admins, Courtney and Tabitha. If you didn't know, Groudon also has the same goal as Team Magma does, to add more land to the world of Pokemon. You see, similar to how Maui pulled islands out of the sea with his fishhook, Groudon made many islands, and some people would even go on record to say that not only Arceus created the world, but Groudon played a major part in making a lot of the land. Team Aqua and Kyogre, on the other hand, want to have more water in many areas of the world. Despite the region that they debuted it in, the Hoenn region, there's already a lot of water, or as a lot of us say, 7.8 too much water. But sometimes the water that Kyogre can make can be very fresh, as this Pokemon has the ability to produce a lot of fresh water. And we do need some fresh water in parts of the world, as there are not a lot of fresh water. After all, only 2% of the entire Earth's water is fresh. After years of these Pokemon dueling in a cataclysmic battle, they both decided eventually they were evenly matched, but they still will fight from time to time. But after they had enough, they retreat to their different parts of the world. Groudon will go back into hibernation in the hottest parts of the world, mainly in volcanoes. Kyogre, on the other hand, will go back to the marine trench in the deepest part, say it with me now, under the sea. Aw, come on, you guys, don't do this again. Come on, we've already had enough fighting. I mean, does the world really have to shake and have to experience another doomsday because you two can't get along again? Aw, jeez. Is there any Pokemon out there that could end this feud? Oh, thank Arceus. It looks like Rayquaza came to stop these Pokemon from having another doomsday. Good thing you caught a hold of this, Rayquaza. After all, you live in the ozone layer, and since that feels threatened, you know when to come down. It's great to see you, Rayquaza, and it's good to see that Groudon and Kyogre have seemed to retreated. I did not forget about you. You are the most important of the trio because you keep those two in check. Also, you're the one that makes the weather normal for us. So, why don't we talk about you as well? I really did not forget about you, and I'm sorry if you felt like I did. So, it's time to talk all about the Sky Dragon itself, Rayquaza. Rayquaza, the Sky High Pokemon, not only keeps the weather in check, but it also lives in the ozone layer, making it incredibly hard to find because people and Pokemon cannot breathe in that area. Also, if you didn't know, Rayquaza could have also been the very first pure flying type Pokemon if the dragon type was not attached to it and it didn't have a dragon-like look to it. As said in the Pokedex, a lot of data on Rayquaza was hard to get because this Pokemon lived very high in the sky. And living in the ozone layer isn't easy, as not anyone except for this Pokemon can really breathe up there. Also, when Rayquaza feels very threatened, it will fight back, especially if it sees a plane or somebody in the sky, as this Pokemon is very dominant of its own territory. Unlike Kyogre and Groudon, Rayquaza is based off of many different dragons. One of the most common dragons it's based off of is the Chinese dragon. But if you never knew this about Chinese clothing, you should know this, that in old Chinese days, only the emperor was allowed to wear dragons on their robes that had 5 claws. The empress, as well as the firstborn child, was allowed to wear dragons with 4 claws, and all the other advisors and royals that were in the palace got to wear dragons with 3 claws. Another way you could look at Rayquaza is it is based off of the Swedish mythology of Lindenworm, the dragon, that brought gifts like knowledge and good omens to people. Another way that some people could look at this Pokemon is seeing that Rayquaza is very reminiscent of the Aztec reptilian god Quetzalcoatl. Just like with how Kyogre and Groudon were compared to the Leviathan and the Behemoth, Rayquaza is also compared to as Ziz, the creature that also had the ability to stop the wrath becoming of the Leviathan and the Behemoth. Before Rayquaza was given its signature move in Generation 6, Dragon Ascent, the The signature move of it before was Outrage, which is a pretty good Dragon-type move, but it's also a very risky one. And despite the name Dragon Ascent, it is actually a flying type, which is kind of cool to see that Rayquaza now has two different signature moves that correspond with its typing. Like I said before, if Rayquaza was not a dragon, it would have been the world's very first flying-type Pokemon long before Tornandrous. Despite being in a trio, Rayquaza is actually the only odd one out. As you see, unlike Groudon and Kyogre, Rayquaza isn't sought after by a villainous team. It doesn't have an orb. It's the only one of the three that has a dual type. It cannot have a primal revision as it doesn't have an orb, and it's only possible to mega evolve it. Also, this thing's weather nullifies the abilities, and unlike the other two who live on the earth, this one lives high in the sky, as well as it doesn't have any OTKO moves. Some people wonder how Rayquaza survives living in the sky far away from everyone. Well, all it needs is a lot of rainwater from the clouds, and a lot of meteorites that fall from space are feasted upon by Rayquaza. So, it makes sense why this thing was after Deoxys, as it saw that thing as food. Mega Rayquaza is the tallest flying type and dragon type, let alone the tallest mega evolved Pokemon. And interesting to note that in 2020, for a poll, Rayquaza came out as the top Pokemon of 2020. Good for you, Rayquaza. You are a pretty good dragon-type Pokemon. And I have to say, for a trio, this really does make everything equal, how it gets rid of the weather instead of causing more destruction. I guess this would be a good Pokemon to have if a hurricane or a tornado was coming through town. At least we'd have this Pokemon to stop it immediately. We don't need to worry about that satellite from Geostorm when we have Rayquaza. If you didn't know, Rayquaza, Groudon, and Kyogre marked the very first time that a Pokemon legendary trio were used as mascots of their own games. Yeah, if you really think about it, Green in Japan, as well as Blue and Red, all featured the three starter Pokemon as their final evolutions. And Gold and Silver were just the duo of Ho-Oh and Lugia. Crystal was just with Suicune. Unfortunately, I still think that Entei Raikou could have also played a big part in there. But this is still pretty cool to think that it took 3 regions till we got ourselves a legendary trio as the mascots. All 3 of these Pokemon are really incredible. I love that they have a bunch of ancient markings on them to show that they were in many battles. But it makes sense also since they're known as the Super Ancient Trio. However, I think we as fans were right to dub these 3 the Weather Trio, as they all have the ability to change the weather. Sometimes for the bad, but sometimes for the good. Being a weatherman or weatherwoman in Pokemon must really not be a fun job, as there could be a blizzard in July, there could be a drought in December. I mean, looking at all 3 of these Pokemon and how they have the ability to control the weather, I'd say that it would probably be a very hard task to do, because you can never appeal to everyone, as some people like it hot, some people like it cold, and some people like it when there's no weather, or if it's just nice and overcast for a day. Have you ever thought that maybe Groudon and Kyogre actually have it tougher than every other Pokemon? Some people hate the heat, but sometimes Groudon walks into an area that it doesn't realize people don't want it. Not for any mean reason, just because this Pokemon likes to visit and travel. Same thing with Kyogre. This Pokemon also likes to swim many places. Sometimes it brings rain when people wanted sunshine. It's not its fault, it's just its ability, and it's also because of their ability of the weather. Maybe Rayquaza could be very helpful for us because it can nullify the weather. Also, Rayquaza always knows when these two are fighting because the ozone layer, which it lives in, gets disturbed. So, when that starts to feel disturbed for it, Rayquaza jumps into action. Just like when you saw it in the game of Pokemon Emerald, one of the coolest cutscenes, if you ask me. Maybe Storm from X-Men could teach all 3 of these Pokemon something about the weather. After all, she's had weather powers for many, many years, and these guys have as well. So maybe they could all be the signature Pokemon of her. But hey, All you have to know is that weather is unpredictable. You can never get the right forecast. But with these Pokemon by your side, weather is always so much fun, and sometimes you could use it to your advantage. When it comes to Pokemon trios, is the Weather Trio / the Super Ancient Trio your favorite Pokemon trio of all time, or do you like another? I'm also curious to know, do you like all three of these Pokemon, or do you like one more than all three of them altogether? Also, were you a person who went more of the Sapphire and Alpha Sapphire route, or did you go the Ruby or Omega Ruby route? Or were you a person that went with the Rayquaza route, so you did the Delta episode in both of these games, as well as got yourself Emerald version? I really would love to know. Now, I know I said that I would talk about water-type Pokemon, but I just want everyone to remember for the entire month of June, as well as the whole summer, it's not just water that we are around. We also have to worry about the weather as hurricane season starts today. So it's going to be nice and hot most days of the summer, but at some days it can also be very rainy and it can also be very windy. And we could even get some little typhoons as well as tropical storms coming. So yeah, kind of think of it from that point of view. And I thought this would be a perfect trio to cover because of what's about to happen. But I promise you, with Summer Splash, it's going to be pure waters from here on out, except for a Father's Day special, which will be coming up. So I hope that you're all excited to see what else is to come. And if you liked what you saw, please leave a like. If you have an idea of a water-type Pokemon you want me to cover, you want me to cover another legendary trio, or you want me to cover another Pokemon evolutionary line, please comment. Also, if you like what you see and you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. Summer Splash has just begun, and I want to say thanks for watching. Palm out.